Some of the biggest absolute travesties we've seen from players, award winners who never took the next step, from labeling as promising future stars to all of a sudden bench warmers, irrelevant, being remembered as massive disappointments. If you haven't seen my recent video on every Rookie of the Year winner who never became an All-Star, here's the link to that above. Some of those guys includes Tyreek Evans and Michael Carter-Williams peaking as rookies only to continue getting worse. With second-year Wemby being the clear favorite to win Most Improved Player, many argue players shouldn't be eligible for the award after only playing a year in the league. Especially for top picks expected to become superstars, many of the all-time greats who's won Most Improved Player include Giannis being the best to ever hoist the trophy, legends like Tracy McGrady, and future Hall of Famers Jimmy Butler, Paul George, and Kevin Love all got better years after winning Most Improved Player, but a bunch of these winners were actually remembered as some of the biggest one-year wonders, improving heavily for a season only to take multiple steps back, regressing to their former self from 2 seasons back. How did these players get so much better for only a short time, only to become way worse again when still at a relatively young age? All the answers, starting with Pervis Ellison, remembered for being one of the most underwhelming #1 picks, nowhere near the worst by any means, good enough to avoid all-time bust label, rather forgotten. The 6'9" big man out of Savannah, Georgia, carried Louisville to a national title, drew some Bill Russell comparisons, started out in Sacramento from never nervous Pervis to out of service Pervis when getting to the NBA, didn't look too pleased when getting selected, averaged just 8-6, 34 games first season, then traded to the Bullets, had knee injuries since his college days, cartilage damage on both knees, played just over 70 games once in 11 seasons, didn't have the body to play a long career, proceeded to average 10-7 for a 30-win team, often put out of position on the post, being a small center, finally started full-time by his 3rd season, averaged 20-11, by far his best year, but on a 25-win team, having no real stars, scored 30% of his career points that 92 season alone, also played 38 minutes before more injuries took a toll on his play, missed 33 games following year, 17-9 numbers, still respectable, but became totally washed by age 26, averaged just 7-5, another season missing 30+ contests, later waived by the Bullets, just 2 seasons after winning Most Improved Player, played 5 of the next 6 possible seasons in Boston, being limited off the bench before suiting up 9 games for Seattle the 0-1 campaign, went on to average the disappointing 5.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 202 more contests after age 27, having 8 seasons playing under 50 games. Ellison draws lots of similarities to a modern-day Markelle Fultz, both #1 picks being super injury prone, their bodies failing to hold up at the NBA level, both quiet personalities who never carried themselves as being the guy or acted confidently enough being the first picks to begin with. On to Don McCain. The 19th pick of the 92 draft, UCLA's all-time leading scorer, stands 6'10", initially drafted by the Pistons, traded on draft day to Washington, after being limited as a rookie, proceeded to become the full-time starting small forward, averaged the career best, 18.2 points, 6.2 rebounds, only to drop significantly, never averaging more than 11.5 points for any of his 8 other seasons. His playstyle, known for having one of the quickest releases, more known for his bad image, becoming the first NBA player suspended for steroid use in November of 2000. He was already pretty washed to begin with. After 3 seasons in Washington, became a journeyman, 7 different teams in 7 seasons, 50 total games his last 4 years. His reputation diminished right after winning Most Improved Player, having painkillers, being at bars, played with tendinitis on both knees, signed with Adidas, only to went back to Nike after blisters forced him to miss first 2 games, missing more than half the games his 3rd season, lost his starting spot forever, only time he played more than 60 games a year, his first 2, said his steroid use was from trying to heal from injury. The funny Charles Barkley once said, "I see Don MacLean naked and he doesn't use steroids." Dana Barros, the 5'11" sharpshooter, very similar style of play to Eddie House, ahead of his time, taking 16th to 89 draft, mostly a backup backing up Gary Payton for Seattle, absolutely showed no signs he would improve. After averaging just 8.1 points each of his first 4 seasons, finally broke out after traded to Philly, became a full-time starter, 31 minutes a game, averaged 13.3 points, over 5 assists. But the 95 season, by far his best, remembered for being one of the greatest one-year wonders, the human dynamo, averaged the career best 20.6 points, 7.5 assists, shot a blistering 49% from the field, over 46% from deep, but played for a 24-win team, averaged 40.5 minutes, nearly doubling his career average playing time, even had a 50-point game against the champion Rockets, made the All-Star team, his first and only selection, even set a league record, making at least 1-3 in 89 consecutive games, a record that wasn't broken until 2013's Kyle Korver, and of course later Steph Curry, who won 268 straight games. The NBA also shortened its three-point line that season, giving Barros the benefit of the doubt, 20 years ahead of his time, one of the first guys to pull up confidently in transition, but considered a huge defensive liability, way too undersized, wasn't asked to take more shots later on, not being a pure point guard under 6 foot, struggled finding the right role for other teams, signed with Boston, feeling Philly lowballed him with a 3-year, $9 million offer, came off the bench, Celtics having guards Steve Brown and Sherman Douglas. Barros, being the hometown kid, averaged 13 points on 10 shots the following year. The year after Philly, a true victim of not being in the right circumstances, had bone spurs in his left ankle, needed surgery in 97, played just 24 games, declined right after, spent 2 seasons in Detroit, then back to Boston to finish out 04, one of the super undersized players who didn't age well in his 30s, could have been putting up Isaiah Thomas caliber numbers in the modern era. Gheorghe Muresan, the tallest player in NBA history, chose to give basketball a shot after his dentist convinced him. Due to his massive height, at just a hair over 7'7", the Romanian giant actually had gigantism, affected his growth hormones, given his parents both 5'9 and 5'7. Not very athletic and super clumsy growing up, despite his large stature, Big George more of an underdog story, naturally slow, worked tirelessly to make the league, drafted by the Bullets after seeing him in a magazine next to Michael Jordan, played in the French league, becoming a second-round pick the 93 draft, knowing he wasn't gonna have a long career, having knee problems. Big Muresan even had a personal running coach and translator, worked tirelessly to improve, wears number 77 due to his height, developed a nice touch around the rim, his teammates very fond of his work ethic and personality, won most improved player year 3, averaged 14.5 points, almost 10 rebounds, led the league in field goal percentage twice before having one more healthy season in 97. The lower body injuries, given his size, way more severe than the average athlete, already had tendon problems the 97 season, didn't tell anyone after returning from Hollywood acting in a movie. His pain got way worse while filming, missing the entire 98 season, 31 more NBA games. His body gave out, especially matched in an era with elite big men like Shaq and Hakeem. The fact that Muresan overcame battling his condition into working his way to the NBA, despite his giant height, had to battle massive limitations, forever an inspiration. Allen Henderson, 6'9" power forward out of Indiana, spent his first 9 seasons at the ATL before bouncing around his last 3 years, not highly remembered. Given more minutes year 3, his point average increased to a career best 14.3, up from 6.6 as a 25-year-old, locked down a 7-year $45 million deal. The franchise started to stink by the 2000s, had no chance in competing for a title. The 6'9" big considered himself fortunate to just play in the league, didn't set a goal for how many years he played, just one of those guys happy to be in the NBA, blessed to have played 12 years, made over $50 million in career earnings, retired with career averages of almost 8 and 5. Bobby Simmons, one of the most forgotten names in the mid-2000s. Ben Simmons about to be forgotten after next season. The Chicago native, picked 2nd round by the Sonics in the 01 draft, came off the bench. First 3 seasons, super single digits with the Wizards. before showing improvements when signing with the Clippers, increased his scoring by more than double. Year 4, shocking numbers of 16.4 points, 6 rebounds, over 46% from the field, by far his best year. From under a dozen minutes first 2 seasons to under 25 year 3, played north of 37. His perfect time to excel in the contract year. Later signed as a free agent with the Bucks for 5 years, 47. The Clippers would have their best season the following year without Simmons, who struggled to maintain his high level of play. Had a serious ankle injury before the 06-07 campaign, missing the entire season. Had to remove bone spurs, complicating his recovery. Became a shell of himself, back to being a bench guy, single-digit averages. 2 more healthy seasons for bad teams before finishing his career back in LA 2012. Aaron Brooks, the lightning-quick undersized point guard, became a decent backup for the Tracy McGrady-Yao Ming Rockets, made progress, introduced his game to the world after destroying the champion Lakers Game 3 and 4 of the 09 semis, forcing a 7-game series. Having insane quickness and nasty crossovers, posted a 34-point Game 4 outing, also a 26-point Game 6 masterpiece, shown optimism for a franchise whose championship window's closing. With the injuries to both T-Mac and Yao, Brooks then became the full-time starter 2010, handed the keys to the offense, playing alongside 2-way role players like Trevor Ariza, Carl Landry, and Shane Battier. Brooks took over 16 shots a game, averaged nearly 20 and 5 dimes. The then 25-year-old looked to be entering all-star status, until months after winning the award, a sudden possession more than likely changed his entire career. The 5th game into the 2010-11 season, Brooks badly sprained his ankle on a meaningless half-court heave before the half as Manu Ginobili, right in front of him, appeared to take a charge.
Oh, and Aaron sprained his ankle. Came down on Ginobili's foot after he threw it up there.
Brooks not having enough room to land cleanly caused a stress fracture, a devastating freak accident, resulting in backup Kyle Lowry taking over his spot, excelling. Brooks then missed 21 games, perhaps even rushed to come back early, trying to win his starting role back, never regained the same rhythm, dealt to the Suns by the deadline, became a journeyman ever since, 7 teams in 7 years post 2010, playing in China. Drawing the lockout didn't help his stock. His game absolutely did not age well for a super undersized scoring guard. Finished his hoops career overseas in Australia, being teammates with teenage LaMelo Ball. Victor Oladipo, one of the biggest low-key modern-day tragedies, from viewed disappointment with Orlando and OKC to breaking out as the best player on a playoff team that took LeBron's Cavs to 7. The then 25-year-old averaged 23 the 2018 season, led the league in steals, made defensive first team in the conversation as best 2-way guard before suffering one gruesome injury to another, becoming a shell of his former self, played 102 games in 5 possible full seasons. The ruptured quad tendon on his right knee took over a full year to come back, never became the same. The 2024 tore patella tendon in his left knee, first round Milwaukee series, possibly career ending. As soon as his game started to take off, his setbacks and body breaking down, extremely unfortunate. The now 32-year-old could be forced to make a retirement announcement anytime within the next year or 2. Honorable mentions includes Hedo Turkoglu, won Most Improved Player 2008, but was also amazing throughout the 09 campaign, led his team to the finals, having several big playoff moments before getting that fat contract and not giving a damn no more. Was already 29 when winning the award in the middle of his prime. His legacy took a hit when caught using steroids. Turk was going to be on the decline early 2010s regardless. Brandon Ingram won the award 2020 after making massive improvements from his 3 Lakers seasons, but remained stagnant in New Orleans, hasn't quite fully taken his game to the next level after 2020. While Boris Diaw was going to be remembered as a one-year wonder with 2006 Phoenix, quietly gained massive weight in Charlotte, only to remind the world how great he was, orchestrating the beautiful 2014 Spurs offense, becoming known for being one of the most unique role players, a pioneer of the perfect role player in a depth lineup, complementing stars, from many thinking he'd be out the league in 2012, getting cut by Charlotte, to helping San Antonio win a title 2 years later. The French magician, literally the king of mind games, making many guess wrong about his abilities, especially judging a book by its cover. Which one of these one-year wonder, most improved player winners did you think was gonna take the next step and get even better? Share your thoughts on the comments below. More great videos coming soon. Subscribe for more knowledge.